Welcome back to the show where we run you through all the Dolphins news you need to know about. After you through the news you need to know about, we run you through the fan Q&A where we answer Fins fans' questions. First news story, a really weird one. This comes from Pro Football Rumors. Dolphins signed Jonathan Harrison and center Matt Skura, which I hope I'm saying his name right. I feel like Matt has been around this franchise at some other point in time. I don't know. I think a lot of fans were more interested in players like Ben Johnson and Rodney Hudson, who were available, obviously have had a ton of success in the National Football League. I mean, Jonathan Harrison, I think he hasn't played in many years. He last saw action with the Jets in 2019. So you would think, now Matt has had some success too. He's had 42 starts. He has had 73 starts in his career. I don't know. Maybe those guys are really just that, and you do have to have a level of athleticism to play in this system. But to sign a guy who hasn't played in that many years is kind of crazy. So, obviously, they're not going to get Connor back the entire season. Isaiah Wynn, there's not even a prayer he's coming back, unless the Dolphins make a deep playoff run. So, they're really injured on that interior line. So, and obviously, Eichenberg is dealing with the calf injury as well. So, it is what it is. I think, hopefully Jonathan Harrison doesn't have to play major minutes in the stretch of a playoff run, but we'll see. This next news story comes from Pro Football Rumors. Dolphins offensive coordinator Frank Smith expected to receive head coach interest. Frank seems, which is interesting. I mean, obviously Mike, hopefully Mike is here for a long time, and he will be. He's a phenomenal coach. He's going to have a lot of people who come out from under him to become head coaches. He's going to be one of those guys. And, Frank, there's a lot of guys around Frank that are really good coaches as well. Obviously, Mike, you have Darrell Bevel, Wes Welker, who coaches the receiver. So there's a lot going into what makes the offense so great. They have so many people that are good at what they do surrounding the team. Frank, when I think about important people to the team, Frank kind of flies under the radar. A lot of people give him credit for stuff that we do in the run game, and the design of it. Clearly, Mike, who's very, and everything that we've heard about him, is the most involved. But if he does leave to become a head coach, I don't think it'll be like a huge devastating loss. And not to be disrespectful to Frank and what he's done, but we'll see how many coaches leave in the offseason. Darrell Bevel, he was getting a lot of offensive coordinator buzz last year. So this is just going to happen because of Mike. But Frank has done well here since he got here. This next news story, really interesting, regarding Javon Holland. This comes from Pro Football Rumors. Adam Beasley of Pro Football Network said the Dolphins safety has been dealing with 2 MCL sprains, which is, good. It's a great article because I feel like, at least for me, maybe I wasn't looking hard enough. His injury seems a little mysterious. I mean, he hasn't played in a while. And it makes more sense now that he's dealing with ligament issues in his knee, especially. Hopefully he can come back. The report does go on to say, I forgot to mention this, that Holland said to Beasley, quote, he's optimistic about playing this week. So getting him back to the lineup is a big deal. One thing I will say is against the Jets, Brandon Jones looked really good. Watching him move around on the back end lately, he's looked way worse. He's looked slower. He doesn't look as athletic as he did in the past. This game, he looked like the old Brandon Jones. He was moving a lot better, and which is a good sign for the Dolphins because Deshaun Elliott's also dealing with a concussion issue, and he's likely to miss this game. So, no, I think he might come back for the Cowboys. Excuse me. I think he can get out of concussion protocol. I'm not completely sure about that, so don't take my word for that one. But yeah, getting Holland back is a big deal. The Dolphins did a lot with little that they had, which is why I think it was such a big victory over the Jets. I mean, they were so injured in that game, and it did make me nervous as a Dolphins fan because they were missing a lot of really important players. And it was nice to see Elijah Campbell and Brandon Jones play as well as they did because I didn't expect that from them. I really didn't, and I also didn't expect Eli Apple to play as well as he did. It goes to show you, I mean, looking back at the Eagles game, even though we were missing a lot of pieces, like pretty much everybody on the defense, it seemed like, especially in the secondary, Vic has done a really good job of getting the team acclimated to the scheme, and everybody in it has just played better the longer that they've been in it. And that's just a great job that he's done teaching them and coaching them, and it shows up on the field. So, which is good because the depth matters, and it came up big against the Jets in that game. I mean, we dominated that game. You know, someone put up a tweet on the Bleacher Report. I can't remember who it was, but 80% of the cap didn't even play against the Jets. So it's nice that since Holland and Elliott have been injured, that we've had people that can step up because that has not been the case in past Dolphins teams for sure. This next news story, a lot of diehard fans are probably excited about. The first part, not so much. Dolphins waive outside, this comes from Pro Football Rumors. Dolphins waive outside linebacker Jason Pierre-Paul, and they activate Chris Brooks off IR, which is a big deal. God bless Jeff Wilson, who is I think the best thing he does is come out of the backfield. He just doesn't look that great. There has been such a noticeable drop-off between him and the other players when he's in the game. So getting Chris back, a lot of fans love him. They loved what he did in preseason. I feel like he's a true power back. A lot of people say Jeff is. He really isn't that. I think Chris has the potential to be like a true power back and be above average at it. So that's a different type of runner, especially in the red zone, which is really nice. Waiving Jason Pierre-Paul is weird. I don't know, I want to say weird. If you guys have watched the HBO show that the Dolphins have right now, when he came into the building, it just seemed like he was like, I don't know, kind of standoff. I don't know. It didn't seem like a great fit for whatever reason. So maybe that had factored into it. Plus the Dolphins, which I don't know if we talked about this. I'm pretty sure we did. They signed Melvin Ingram off the street. So kind of the odd man out. I'm excited to see what Melvin does in this game because I think Melvin he played really good football for us last year. He fits Vic's scheme. He's played in a very similar scheme in the past, so I'm excited to see what Melvin does because he's such a good run defender. Still at this point in his career, so he can still do stuff and impact the game on the field at a high level. Unfortunate that JPP is gone. Maybe they bring him back on the practice squad. We'll have to see about that in the future. I don't think there's really anything else. I think we pretty much covered it all. A lot of good news on here, especially with Holland, hopefully being very obviously optimistic that he's coming back against Dallas. But that brings us to the game itself, the Jets and the Dolphins. At home, the Dolphins beat the Jets 30-0. Shout out to the home crowd again. I was really happy that the crowd came with the same energy that they did in Monday night, which was cool. And then I also want to point out the beat writer is really urging Dolphins fans not to sell their tickets to Cowboys fans this week, which is a big deal. And it's cool that it's a 4:00 game too. I think that's important. And for the crowd, like I feel like I said it before, I feel like the best Florida crowds are at night. And it's good that Cowboys game is on at 4. And Yeah, this was a big victory. I was no, no, I don't know. It was such a bummer losing to the Titans, and the fact that the Dolphins were missing so many pieces, and even Tyreek Hill. I mean, this is the number 2 passing defense in the NFL. The Jets have, and there was a little worry, especially since so many people on the defensive side were injured, and the offense's best player wasn't in the game. Obviously, a lot of people had questions around, can this team still move the ball without Tyreek Hill? And I guess we'll start with the offense. I felt like as a team on offense, they played better than they did against them the last time. Shout out to Jalen Waddle, who, with Hill out, took that role and ran with it. He was dominant in this game, and he was going to make it some really good corners, and they couldn't cover him. He had 8 catches, 142 yards, and a touchdown. Mike really did a good job of game planning, finally hitting Waddle on a go route for a touchdown, which I don't think has happened yet. I'm trying to think, which is wild to even say that. Usually when Waddle catches a deep pass, it's either on a post or a corner, but he hasn't caught a go route for a touchdown, at least yet, or a fade route. So it was nice to see him do that. And again, not on an easy defense to do that. I thought the passing game looked really good in this game. Tua had a phenomenal game. If it wasn't for all these dang penalties in this game, because there was an excessive amount of stupid penalties, we probably would have scored more points. But shout out to the refs in this game. But Tua had a really good game, made some really nice throws. I thought, for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, especially even last year, for whatever reason, the man's arm, and maybe it's because he's at home, but I swear to God he throws better as the year goes on. For whatever reason, I don't know. But made some insanely phenomenal throws. His vision is great. The fact that Tua is our quarterback for the next 10 years. I've seen enough. I can't believe we're even still having that conversation. But he really is a franchise. He's a great quarterback. And I felt like that showed up in this game. I don't know how people blame the Titans game on him. I think there's a lot of other things that... I mean, he made some great throws in that game, especially the corner out to Tyreek Hill. So he's playing really good football right now. Obviously, Raheem Mostert breaking Ricky Williams' record. Now he's in the 20s in touchdowns, which is even hard to fathom to think about it. And A-Chain, too, who just continues to be a great player, better than I thought. And I thought he would be. He had 60 total yards in this game. He averaged 10 yards a catch. He averaged right on almost 4 yards a carry, which isn't his normal stat line, but still really, really good. But yeah, I was really impressed with how the offense played. They really never got stopped. They got stopped like a few, other than there was a lot of penalties in this game. Some of them were justified, some of them definitely were not. And like I said, I feel like they probably would have had more points if it wasn't for some of those calls. Instead of settling for 3, they would have scored touchdowns. Offense looked great. Defense continues to look great. The front 7, Van Ginkel, really playing the position he should have always played. And Zach Sealer, Christian Wilkins, Bradley Chubb with the best game of his career, coming off a really bad game against the Titans. Cost us 7 points in that game. So great bounce, but 3 sacks, 2 strip sacks, and he recovered them. No, he recovered one of them. Obviously, Zach Sealer recovered the other one. So yeah, defensively, I've said, I mean, what else can you say? I was really impressed with the guys that stepped up, though. Eli Apple, Brandon Jones, and Elijah Campbell did a phenomenal job. Jalen Ramsey, by the way, something that they haven't done all year, which was a great adjustment in this game, is have our corners follow people. And that was the first time that X or Jalen have done that. So it was a really good idea by Vic to have Jalen follow Garrett, and he pretty much neutralized him the entire game. Great coaching, great game plan, great rebound. I was so happy with the way the team played. They didn't get down on themselves. They just played angry and they dominated the game. So same thing with Tua. Having that happen on the last drive however you want to look at that last drive. And to come back in this game with confidence and play that well was really impressive. And I'm really happy with the way that they came out and answered the bell from a bad loss. They did a really, really, really good job. And, everybody going into this game thought a lot of people thought the Jets would make this a close game or beat us. And that didn't happen without, 80% of our dang salary on the field. So and now everybody's like, well, they just beat the Jets. You can't win, and, it is what it is. But, I think this is a very big win for the team. This puts them in position to win the division the next 2 weeks, which is a big deal. And they could easily have just played awful in this game. And, it could have been closer than it actually was, but they didn't. It kind of just shows you what kind of team this is. And I'm really excited for this game against Dallas and Baltimore, because they have a chance to do something this team hasn't done in over 10 years. So to be even in that position to win the division is awesome, and I'm so happy that we're in that position, and we can actually clinch the division. I mean, it would, if the Chargers clutch up and beat the Bills without Justin Herbert, that would be awesome. So it's great that they put themselves in that position. Super stoked to watch these next 2 games. It's going to be awesome, and especially having Dallas at home. I'm very, very, very excited. So great win for the team, for the fan base especially people who have been around and rooting for this team for a long time. It was just a really phenomenal response by the squad, and I'm really happy with that. I think everybody's playing their best football right now, which is a good thing. I mean, Waddle, everybody is. Shout out to the offensive line who... people forget, we're missing interior players, but Austin Jackson and Armstead both played in that game, which is a big deal. I mean, at the end of the day, the most important positions on your offensive line are the tackles, so to have them for these stretch of games is very important, especially against Dallas with Micah Parsons, so it's a big deal. So could not be, this is the best December the Dolphins have had in a long time. Many years. Best team they've had in a long time. So I'm really excited. There's some other things I wanted to bring up. One other thing. I feel like when we're in the red zone, shout out to Mike for running it 3 times, which is what he should have done against Tennessee, but it doesn't matter. We're not even going to think about that game. I love that he did that in this game. But Claypool, I think, should be involved. Anytime, if we call a fade to Tyreek Hill, we shouldn't do that. Just put Chase Claypool out there and just have him run a fade. You're going to get one-on-one coverage every time anyway in the goal line. You might as well have Claypool do it. That's really all I have to say. If you're going to... I feel like our goal line receivers... I think Claypool has to get more minutes in those situations and really utilize him in the red zone. I think that it could be a really big thing for us down the stretch, and I hope that they do that. And it's nice that Waddle is really heating up and could take the Tyreek Hill. And that goes to show you how good Mike is at coaching. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys enjoyed. And big win. And hope everybody has a Merry Christmas. I think I'm probably not. I don't know. Saturday would be... my dates are mixed up. Anyway, if it's after Christmas, it's after Christmas. Hope everybody has a happy Christmas, and can't wait for the Cowboys game. So that's it, guys. See you guys in the next one.